But out of all of them, I would probably say Robert Pattinson as Batman has to be the best Batman that I've came across that I wasn't like too nitpicky about. I would give it a 9.5. And honestly, I would say I enjoyed this more than Spider-Man No Way Home. The only reason why I would say that is because what's up guys, my name is Don Red and welcome back to another video. Today I told you guys, if you don't follow me on social media, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a second to do that right now. I just don't understand why y'all don't listen to me. I told you, like, you need to follow my social media so you know what's going on. Like, come on now, help me out. But basically the reason why I'm saying that is because I started doing more reviews. Like I said, you would know that if you follow me on my social media. Right here, right down here for you. Don't worry about it, I got you. So I decided to do a review. Now at one point, you guys know I did reviews. I only did like one review, and that was like on Dragon Ball Super Broly. Today's review is going to be on the Batman. So I watched it like this. I watched it the day that it came out. So this is like the following day. I was supposed to record it the night of, but I was too tired. But this movie. Okay, first I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. I honestly don't know where I'm gonna get this video out, but I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. I'm gonna just more so try to convince you that you should go watch it. Now, to start off, if you don't want to watch it because of the whole Twilight thing, please let it go. Let Twilight go. Just let it go. I know it was bad. We didn't need that phase, but we had it. We had it. Okay, that was it. But Robert Pattinson has had other movies that were great. And the Batman, I'm gonna be honest, at first the only thing that bugged me was his voice, but over time I grew to like his interpretation of Batman with the voice. At first I was kind of like because I'm used to the other ones. It was just like I'm Batman, I'm a beat you up, or like I'm a brute type thing. But with this one he was more like I'm Batman. I'm sorry, it was more of like every time he would speak, it will remind me of his Twilight counterpart, to where he was just like, your blood, it's like a drug to me. Like, you really think you can outrun me? I'm a vampire. You know, stuff like that. So he would kind of speak like that, as that. But honestly, it fit to me. I don't know why. It just fit to me. So, and I was also worried because, like, honestly, he's not that big of a guy like all the other ones. Well, Christian Bale, he wasn't all that big, but like all the other versions of Batman had some size to it. Even the video game or animated counterparts have like size to it, and I was worried that he might have been not like the right size. But honestly, when you see him moving around in the movie, honestly, the suit, everything about him as Batman was great. And one thing that really did it for me was the whole detective side of it. They really leaned into that, because the other versions, it was more so like, you know, it wasn't really much detective stuff into it. And other than Batman, I think it was Batman Forever, I believe, that had Jim Carrey in it. Was it that one? I can't remember. But the one with Jim Carrey, that was the only other time that they had the Riddler in a live action Batman thing. Before that, it was like Adam West. But with this one, honestly, this version of Riddler wasn't really like the actual Riddler with the whole color scheme and then the hat and all with it. It was more like the Hush version of Riddler, which I also liked as well. Catwoman, I like how they kind of like started blending her into everything. Penguin was pretty funny to me. I loved how they did his character. It was pretty entertaining to watch the Penguin in that. Carmine Falcone was exactly what I, usually would see him as. Like, anybody who's played Carmine Falcone has more or less been exactly what he come off as. Alfred was pretty good. I hate that He was in it for like good parts in the movie, but when he showed up, there wasn't really too much value for him to bring into it, which is fine or whatever, because this is a different interpretation of it. And then like once you see the movie, you'll see why. But it was like usually whenever I see Alfred, he has more to offer in terms of like guidance and all that all those type of things. But in terms of this one, he was more so kind of like sidelined very quickly, and there wasn't really a lot too much to his character. Like I said, the movie more than enough makes up for that, so it's not really much of a bad thing. But it was just kind of, I'm kind of used to Alfred being around a little bit more, especially with the Christian Bale, the Dark Knight trilogy. I was more so used to seeing Alfred quite a bit with that one. Jim Gordon was pretty interesting. We got a black Jim Gordon, so that was a definite a fun thing to explore with that. And also how he was working with Batman, how he was literally putting his job on the line to work with him. And that's the type of relationship that I like to see. Like pretty much whenever they bring Batman and Jim Gordon together, they pretty much do it right. So that was one thing I'm glad they still kept the element of. Who else am I? I'm missing somebody. I think I brought up Catwoman. I don't think I went too far into it. So as far as Selena Kyle's character, I like how they started explaining a little bit of her origin as well, and also with the I almost spoiled something. So I almost spoiled something. I almost slipped just now. But I like her origin story, and there's a lot to it that makes it like, oh wow, okay, so that adds a little bit of twist to it. Same, and also one thing that I will say, if you ever played the Telltale Batman game by the ones who made the Walking Dead games as well, they take a little element out of that and apply it to the movie, and I like that they did that, which involves like the Riddler in this aspect. Except in the Telltale Batman, they had Lady Arkham and the Penguin expose Bruce's family. In this one, they pretty much have Riddler, and I feel like I just spoiled. Yeah, I just spoiled that. Okay, whatever. So I mean, it wasn't. Ugh, let me just shut up. So I kind of like how it was just like how the Riddler would do his puzzles. Like, hey, figure this out or he dies. Or hey, you want to live? You got to figure out this puzzle, figure out this riddle. I like that. I was in a movie theater figuring out the riddles and stuff. As I was watching it, I'm just like, oh yeah, I know this one, I know that one, and stuff like that, because I grew up. Whenever it came to the Riddler, I would actually come across this puzzle, riddles and stuff like that, and try to figure it out. Same thing with the video games, even with the Gotham series, where they had the Riddler in that, and he'll start making up some riddles and stuff like that, and I'll be sitting there trying to figure it out. So when it came to the movie, I was pretty much sitting there just saying like, oh, that's this, that's that, that's that. I'm pretty sure I got on some people's nerves with that. I forgot where I was at. I forgot I was in public. But yeah, let's focus a little bit more on the Batman. Everybody else was great, and they complimented the movie very, very well. It was very grounded. It was very realistic, and I fell in love with the suit and the Batmobile. Even though it wasn't really much of a Batmobile, but it was nice because it's his own stuff. Most of the others had like tanks for their version of Batmobile. The last two anyway pretty much had like tanks as their Batmobiles. So it was nice to see this version of him. It's like, yeah, I got all the money to do this stuff, but I'm more so gonna make it myself, because that his Batmobile looked like something that he just took a regular car and just modified it. And yeah, like I said, they do more of the detective side. And also, when I first saw the suit, like the pictures and stuff like that, I was like, I mean, not really a big fan of the suit. But honestly, once he start moving around and fighting and flying around and like running and stuff like that, I'm just like, that his suit reminds me of the I think it was, which Arkham game? I think Arkham Origins, I believe, is the one that I'm thinking about. His suit reminds me more of that version of Batman. I think it's Arkham Origins. I'll pretty much put it in the video if that's the case. but his suit reminds me of that version of Batman. That's why I was just like, man, I felt like soon as that one shot showed up, that made it feel like the rest of the movie for me. I was like, okay, yeah, I love this suit now. Because at first I wasn't too much of a fan of the cowl, and the suit itself was kind of like reminding me of like if you play Marvel Avengers, like the game. It's kind of like Captain America's suit. It looked like just nothing but a bunch of hockey pads. But once I saw him move around and fighting and do all this type of stuff, just like that looked and reminded me exactly like the Arkham Knight games. So I was just like, you know what? I love the suit. The voice, like at first I wasn't, it's not like I was a problem with it, but it was just like, it was new for me to get used to, and I still enjoyed it. And just him moving around, and like he portrayed Batman very, very, very well. I would say he would be my best Batman, honestly, because Michael Keaton was good as Batman. Adam West for his time was good as Batman. Who was the Val King, like, you know who I'm talking about, but his version was kind of for me. And then I think the Batman after that was to me as well, especially the suit itself. Like, I never thought I would see a Batman suit that had nipples on it. So that was a weird version of Batman. I don't know why they try to sexualize him like that, having a bulge and nipples on his suit. I don't know what made them thought that was a good idea. But and then after that was the Dark Knight series, I believe, and then you had Affleck's Batman. So I will also count the animation Batman and also the game Batman as well, because they also have a special place in my heart as well. But out of all of them, I would probably say Robert Pattinson as Batman has to be the best Batman that I've came across that I wasn't like too nitpicky about. Well, honestly, I would probably say his movie kind of trumped all the others for me, except for The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker, that will be my all-time favorite Batman movie. Even Michael Keaton's first Batman movie, that would probably still be my second favorite. But for Robert Pattinson's Batman, like, he pretty much topped a lot of the other Batmans that I would like to watch. Because honestly, I would say 9 out of 10, this would be like a watch again type thing. But I'm kind of rambling on, so I'm going to try to break this down to you like this. So, in terms of action, 1 out of 5 rating, I'll probably give it a 4. There was a lot of action. It did not take away from the element of that. It still showed you, like, yeah, he is very big and intimidating. Like, he'll walk in the room and you'll feel his presence. Like, I never, like, anytime another Batman would come in, it's kind of like, oh yeah, he's sneaking in and type of stuff like that. He would come in and grab the attention of the room. Like, even when he's sneaking in, it's just like, oh, you messed up type thing. So action, I'll give it a 4, maybe even a 4.5, but I'm gonna just say 4. As far as the story, I would say the story is 4.5, because that story that they went kept my attention. The story was great. I loved it. I love how everything kind of tied in together. I love even the hidden Easter eggs within that's gonna have a part to play within the next one, and also in the spin-off series as well that they're doing. So the story itself, I loved it. I love the new take of it. It wasn't the same old Bruce Wayne, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist type thing. This Bruce Wayne was so antisocial, and it was so different to get used to. Usually I would see him flirting with any woman that he can get. Like, he's able to separate Bruce Wayne from Batman. When Bruce Wayne comes out, he's a sociable person. He talks to them, he has fun, all this other type of stuff. But when he becomes Batman, that's when he becomes antisocial and, judgy and stuff like that. With Robert Pattinson's Batman, whether he's Bruce or Batman, he stays the same. Like, he'll do the same exact stuff as Batman. He's antisocial as Batman and less trusting of people as Batman. And he's the exact same way as Bruce Wayne. Not very sociable as Batman. Same exact way as Bruce Wayne. Like, he's by himself. The only other person he cared about was Alfred. But towards like throughout the movie, he starts opening up more. So I love the story of like, this is not your typical Batman that you will normally see. And also like, he doesn't care for the business or none of that. All he wants to do is be Batman. Romance, I would probably more so focus on the side of like Selina Kyle and Batman's like the Bat and the Cat. Romance, I would give it about a 3.5 stars. They didn't focus too much on it, which I am pretty good with. It wasn't overly romantic. It was just the right amount that fit within the story. So that's why I gave it like a nice okay rating, because like, you know, it's not really much of a romance thing, but like since Catwoman is in it, they added that element into it. And like I said, he's very antisocial, but like she had him open up throughout the movie. So I like that. I like the fact that they gave him like, you know, more, you know, trying to help his character grow, since like ever since his parents died, he's been secluded. Only person that he cared about was Alfred. He didn't care about nothing else. Then he met Selina, and then he started opening up, you know, just a little bit more. So I like the fact that they added some romance element in that's going to help his character grow a little bit more. But other than Selina, he trusts Jim Gordon, but you know what I mean. In terms of horror, I would probably give it 3.5 stars. The reason for that, I was not expecting this to have any type of horror element, but honestly, the way they did this, Batman is pretty scary. Any other time you will see Batman in the theaters, it's like, oh yeah, it's Batman, it's cool, and like, oh yeah, it's great. This Batman was like, oh shit, it's Batman, oh my god. Like, he'll scare you as the audience, like, you know what's happening. Or like for instance, like in one of the trailers, because this is not a spoiler, it's literally like a video clip of that out there somewhere, but he's chasing Penguin on like the highway or whatever, and when he knocks Penguin's car over, he starts like walking from like fire going up to him, and then like he comes near him and then starts kneeling down slowly looking in his car. And I was like, that sent chills down my spine. I was like, oh my god, I would be terrified if I was in that position. So the fact that they gave him a little fear factor, which is literally what Batman is. Like, the only other time that they gave Batman like kind of a fear factor was in Batman Begins. That's the only time that I've ever seen them ever implement the fear factor. After that, they didn't really do it so much. This one had the fear factor from start to finish. Everybody was scared of Batman within this movie, especially when he let loose, because there's been times where I thought he was going to kill somebody. He almost did towards the end, I think. But so yeah, for a horror, 3.5 stars. Drama, I would give it a 4.5. It was the right amount of drama that kept me interested. It wasn't too dramatic. I was like, oh my god, like, this is like, so why is it so dramatic? Because a lot of people don't want to see this. A lot of people don't like DC because it's too, you know, depressing. It's too like gritty and things like that. But that's part of DC. Honestly, Marvel is like that as well, except when they do live action stuff, they choose not to show that side of it. But there's a lot of stuff within Marvel that is just as dark, honestly. Hence why they're doing the Multiverse of Madness, because the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be a horror dark movie. So now they're starting to do the dark elements of it. But DC, a lot of their stuff is dark, but Batman himself he's the type of character that's not supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows. Like, a lot of his stuff is dark, especially messing with people like the Joker, the Riddler, Bane, Scarecrow. Like, these characters have dark tendencies, so it's just like these characters are gonna do some dark stuff. Like, it's not like the same thing with Marvel where they have some characters who'll do some messed up stuff, but it's not very dark, it's just messed up. This Batman's villains are very, very messed up in the head. So the fact that this has the element to show that, it was very great. In terms of the drama, like, you never knew what was going to happen. It was all over the place. Like, you didn't know who was going to die. Like, there was so many characters in there that I thought was going to die. I was going to be like, no, oh, come on. Like, what? Like, it had me on the edge of my seat several times, honestly. But with all that being said, overall, I would give this movie 1 out of 10, I would give it a 9.5. And honestly, I would say I enjoyed this more than Spider-Man No Way Home. The only reason why I would say that is because this movie itself was fresh. It was brand new. It had nothing to really lean on besides just being Batman. And then they tried to do the realistic aspect of it, which is very hard to do with some of these characters and stuff. The reason why I say I like it more than Spider-Man No Way Home, because Spider-Man No Way Home was a nostalgic movie because of the characters that they had in it. That's why I loved it so much, because like some of those characters were like from the Spider-Man that I grew up with. Same thing with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being like, I grew up with those guys, so it was great to see that movie. But if it didn't have those elements, I mean, I'm pretty sure the movie would still been good. But honestly, with Robert Pattinson doing this version of Batman and everything else that went along with it, I honestly like this more than Spider-Man No Way Home. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with that. And honestly, yeah, I'm more of a, I wouldn't say I'm more of a Marvel fan, but in terms of movies, Marvel has been winning. But if they keep making stuff like they do with Matt Reeves' Batman, they're going to be making a comeback if they're doing it like this. Because I absolutely love this movie. Like, when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, I saw that several times. With this, I'm probably going to do the same thing too, because I want to make sure there is nothing that I missed in this movie. I want, like, honestly, I will see this again, because there's like so many things in this movie that I feel like I might have missed. But yeah, overall, I would give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. My personal opinion, if you like Spider-Man No Way Home, and if you're a Batman fan who doesn't mind the dark side of stuff, then you definitely would like this. And then the choice of the song from the band Nirvana made this so much better, because like Nirvana, what they sing about, what they embrace and things like that, fits so perfectly with what they did with Batman. Fits so perfectly. And that's what really did it for me, especially like Something in the Way. When it first brought out the first trailer and they started playing that song, I was just like, beautiful. But I would say for a casual fan, if you're not really into this type of stuff, a casual fan, I say I'll give you a solid A. Like, you'll enjoy it. Like, if you're actually watching it, you'll enjoy it. Everybody knows Batman. If you don't have to know the actual lore and all this type of stuff that goes into his characters and stuff like that, as long as you like, oh yeah, Batman and all this type of stuff, like, you'll more likely enjoy it. As a fan, like, who grew up watching this, so like you just adore all the movies, you're definitely gonna love this. So I'll definitely give this an A+. And then if you're gonna be critical about the movie, I'll honestly give it an A+ as well, because Matt Reeves is known for the detective and the psychological stuff when it comes to his movies, because he's made plenty of movies that this, like Batman, the Batman movie has elements from all his other movies that he did before. And that's one thing that I realized too, because I had to watch all his other movies and then watch this one to appreciate it a lot more. So if you're gonna be critical about it, honestly, I would probably give you an A or A+ for this. Overall, this movie, I definitely would love to see not only the spin-off series, but a continuation of this franchise, because you have the makings of the perfect Batman, and then it's realistic that you're making it to be. And then not only that, these characters that you're bringing into it are realistic. Like, you have the Riddler, Penguin, Carmine Falcone. Selina's not really a villain, she just does whatever she wants. But it's the fact that these characters are realistic. That in itself was amazing. Now, one thing that I did hear, that apparently the next movie they'll probably have Mr. Freeze in it. That, I'm curious to see if they're still going to be like, because if he's still doing the realistic part aspect of it, I'm curious to see how he's going to make through Mr. Freeze realistic. So that's going to be something that I'm interested in seeing. As far as the Riddler, throughout this movie, he was the Hush version of it. If you don't know the Hush, like, there's a movie called Batman Hush, where the Riddler dies and comes back with basically a mask on his face and things like that. That's what this kind of reminded me of. But so I'm curious to see if they're gonna keep that version of him, or will he have the little hat and cane and, oh, I didn't mean to hit that. I wonder if he's gonna, like, in the next movie, he's gonna have the hat and cane and the suit and stuff like that. And I feel like they might do a little version of that, only because once you see the movie, he's gonna be talking to somebody in the cell next to him that's gonna give you a hint to who he is. And if this character is who I think it is, there's a good chance that Riddler might change how he wears his outfit. Because if you see the cartoon or any other version of him, if you look at his outfit, who's the only other character that you can see wearing something like that? So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with the next movie. I definitely want another movie. This was supposed to have been came out, but, you know, with the pandemic pushing everything back, you know, honestly, if the pandemic didn't happen, we would have been had this movie. We'd probably be waiting for the second one right now. But hey, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so overall, I would say you guys would definitely say it, and me, I would definitely see it again. Like, that movie was great. And especially I love how when I went to the movie theater, there was so many people either wearing a Batman like shirt, or they had like a Batman mask. Like, everybody was wearing something representing Batman. So people came to watch this. I promise you, trust me, when I say the whole Twilight thing, please ignore that, because this movie is a definite must see. Now, if you're just not the type of person who likes, you know, gritty and dark type stuff, I get that. But this just fits so well, and a lot of these characters are dark. Like Venom, even though it's PG-13, Venom is like a rated R character. I don't know how they are making it PG, and I feel like they can make more out of that, out of the Venom series, if they make him rated R, because he's definitely a rated R character, especially Carnage. These are rated R characters that you're making PG. You know, that's, you know. But yeah, so that was my take on the Batman. Loved it. You should see it. I'm seeing it again. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you already seen it, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you really thought that this, like, I want to hear your opinion on it. Did you really love it, or did you find a lot of stuff that was wrong with it that I did not notice? Or maybe there was a lot of stuff that I said that you just like, I didn't really like it all that much. I'm curious to see what you guys really thought about that movie, if you have saw it. If you haven't, check it out. Come on, just check it out. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you like to, oh my goodness, I'm having a stroke. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and share. If you have any requests, comment at the bottom of this video. Hit me on my social media, which will be in the description below. Subscribe and comment what you want to see next. Until the next video, you guys. See ya.